Here's something that should bother you. The powder I'm about to describe has been killing insects for longer than humans have existed. It works on ants, fleas, bedbugs, cockroaches, mites, ticks, beetles, slugs, earwigs, and over 100 other pest species. It leaves no chemical residue. Insects cannot develop resistance to it, ever, because of the specific way it kills them. It's registered by the EPA. It's used in organic farming. You can literally eat it. It costs $4 a bag. And the pest control industry in the United States generates $16 billion a year in revenue, while most homeowners have never heard the name of it. That's not a coincidence. Stick with me. What is this powder, and why does it work on things that chemical pesticides don't? The answer starts about 30 million years ago at the bottom of ancient lakes and oceans. There's a type of single-celled algae called diatoms, microscopic organisms with shells made of silica, which is essentially natural glass. For hundreds of millions of years, diatoms lived, died, and sank to the bottom, their glass shells accumulating in layers thousands of feet deep. Those layers compressed into soft sedimentary rock. We mine that rock, grind it into a fine white powder, and that powder is diatomaceous earth. Now here's where it gets interesting. To your eye and to your touch, it's a soft, chalky white powder, completely harmless. But zoom in to the scale of an insect and the picture changes entirely. At the microscopic level, each particle of diatomaceous earth is a jagged, razor-sharp fragment of fossilized glass shell. To an insect, this isn't powder. It's thousands of razor-sharp glass shells, each one capable of slicing through the waxy protective layer of an exoskeleton. And here's the critical part. Insects need that waxy layer to retain moisture. Without it, they lose water through their cuticle at a rate they cannot survive. They don't get poisoned. They don't get paralyzed. They dehydrate. Diatomaceous earth causes insects to dry out and die by absorbing the oils and fats from the cuticle of the insect's exoskeleton. Its sharp edges are abrasive, speeding up the process. And because the mechanism is purely physical, mechanical damage at the microscopic level, there is no pathway for resistance to develop. Chemical insecticides work by disrupting specific biological processes. Insects evolve around those processes over generations. Diatomaceous earth tears through the physical structure of their outer layer. Insects cannot resist this physical killing method, unlike chemical pesticides, where resistance can evolve over generations. You cannot evolve around a razor blade. The physics don't negotiate. How fast does it actually work? And on what? Soft-bodied insects like aphids and caterpillars may die within 12 to 24 hours. Fleas and bedbugs typically succumb within 24 to 72 hours. Roaches and beetles, due to their larger size and more rigid exoskeletons, may take 3 to 7 days. Not instant, but permanent. A treated surface stays lethal to any insect that crosses it, as long as the powder remains dry. Weeks, months. Inside a wall cavity or under a floor where moisture doesn't reach. Potentially years. You apply it once, and it keeps working without degrading, without evaporating, without requiring reapplication on a schedule designed to keep you purchasing. The list of what it handles reads like a roster of everything people pay exterminators to come deal with. Ants, cockroaches, fleas, bedbugs, silverfish, earwigs, beetles, weevils in stored grain, spider mites in gardens, ticks in the yard, slugs on vegetable beds, fungus, gnats in potted plants, stored product pests in pantry shelves. The same $4 bag handles all of them through the same mechanism. A 2015 study cited in multiple pest management reviews demonstrated significant reduction in Argentine ant activity following DE application. Research published in multiple peer-reviewed entomology journals confirms effectiveness against bedbugs, including strains that have developed resistance to chemical treatments. The very strains that are making the pest control industry's chemical solutions progressively less effective in urban environments across North America. Now here's the question nobody in the industry wants you to ask. If this exists, if it's registered by the EPA, if organic farmers use it on food crops, if it has 100 years of documentation behind it, why does a standard pest control contract cost between $400 and $1,200 a year per household? Why does the average American homeowner spend $300 to $550 per year on pest control services, according to HomeAdvisor market data? Why does the $16 billion pest control industry not hand you a bag of this powder and walk away? You already know the answer. A $4 bag that permanently solves the problem a customer is paying. $400 a year to manage is not a business model. It's a business ending. The chemical treadmill is the product. You get treated, pests return, or new ones arrive, you get treated again. The subscription model for pest control depends on impermanent solutions. Diatomaceous earth, properly applied, is not impermanent. It sits there, it waits. It works every time something with an exoskeleton crosses it. Here's exactly how to use it, and the mistakes that make it fail. First, food grade only. This is critical. There are industrial-grade diatomaceous earth products that have been heat-treated and chemically modified for filtration use. Swimming pool filters use a form of DE. That version has been structurally altered and contains harmful additives. Food-grade diatomaceous earth is the one you want for pest control. It's available on Amazon, at garden centers, farm supply stores, and increasingly at hardware stores. Harris is one of the most widely available brands. A 4-pound bag runs $4 to $8. A 50-pound bag, enough to treat an entire property inside and out, costs $20 to $30. Application: think thin. A light, barely visible dusting works better than a heavy application. Insects will avoid walking through obvious piles. The goal is a fine layer across surfaces where insects travel. Baseboards, under appliances, inside cabinet hinges, around door frames, in wall voids if you have access, along fence lines, around the base of garden beds, under raised garden beds, around the perimeter of a chicken coop, a rabbit hutch, a dog kennel. For outdoor garden use, apply in the morning after dew has dried and before any rain is forecast. A light puff from a squeeze bottle or a powder duster, available for a few dollars, gets it into places a hand application can't reach. For bed bugs specifically, apply in a thin layer under the mattress, around bed frame joints, inside the bed base, and along the baseboard of the bedroom. Leave it undisturbed. The timeline is slower than a chemical bomb, but the bugs cannot develop resistance to it, which is why it's increasingly recommended by pest management professionals for strains that have stopped responding to chemical treatment. For grain and pantry storage, and this is the one that surprises most people, food-grade DE can be mixed directly into stored grain at a rate of roughly 1 cup per 50 pounds. It coats each grain kernel and kills any weevil or beetle larva that tries to feed on it, with zero chemical contamination of the food itself. DE formulations are registered for direct application on grain in many parts of the world. Farmers have used this for decades. Most households have no idea one honest limitation that belongs here. Moisture dramatically reduces its effectiveness. In indoor dry environments, DE can work for months, while outdoor applications may require reapplication after rain or heavy dew. Wet DE is essentially inert. The particles clump together and lose their sharp edges' ability to penetrate an exoskeleton. For outdoor use in humid climates or after rainfall, reapplication is necessary. For indoor use in dry conditions, inside walls and under floors, along dry baseboards, it keeps working indefinitely without attention. Also worth saying directly, DE does not kill insect eggs. It kills active insects that walk through it. For species with rapid reproduction cycles, continuing to treat the affected area through multiple life cycles is part of the strategy. And one safety note, inhalation of fine particles in large amounts can potentially cause lung irritation. Use a dust mask when applying in enclosed spaces or large quantities. Outside or in ventilated areas, this is a non-issue. It's the same precaution you take with any fine powder. Food-grade DE has no toxicity to mammals. Studies cited by Oregon State University's National Pesticide Information Center found no reproductive, developmental, or carcinogenic effects in animal studies at high doses. The dust mask is a comfort measure, not an emergency protocol. Here's the part that stays with me. 30 million years of diatoms dying at the bottom of prehistoric lakes, their glass shells accumulating, compressed into rock, mined, ground into powder. And every insect that walks across a thin layer of it dies the same way insects have been dying since before humans discovered fire. The first pesticide products containing diatomaceous earth were registered by the EPA in 1960. That's over 60 years of regulatory documentation confirming it works, confirming it's safe, confirming it's suitable for use around food, children, and pets, 60 years. And the pest control salesperson who knocked on your door last month quoted you $800 for a year of chemical treatments. If this gave you something useful today, share it with someone who's been on that chemical subscription for years. They deserve to know there's a $4 alternative that's been sitting on a shelf the whole time. Knowledge like this doesn't disappear on its own, it gets buried. This channel digs it back up. Subscribe if that matters to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.